So now my goal is to get this material, instead of being left aligned, to be centered in the page. So if you remember what we did here, we actually created a section. Oops, that's not where I want to be. Oh, actually have it. Oops, sorry, that was the wrong thing that I had there. But I had, if you see here, I actually have already created this section. But I need to apply a class here, and we're going to do module. This is where the learning module is, and I'm going to put this. The module is more general than the row, so I'm going to put module up here at the top, and that's just so I can find it easily. It does not actually matter the order that you put it in. And I'm going to put, let's just play around with this. Let's do 50%. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, so that kind of squished it up close together, which is okay for now. But let's just do the margin. And if you remember, we do this. And that will create equal margins on both sides of this content. Now, this is not filling the whole, the Flexbox goes all the way here. These are small enough pieces that they're not filling this Flexbox. So, this content right here, so even though the Flexbox is like all the way out here, this content is not fitting it. It's not filling it up. But there's a way to make it space itself out so that it does naturally kind of fill in this space. So how we will do this, if I can find my code here, let's make sure okay, there we go. So let's think about this. Well, what we probably want to do is create another class here for block. I'm going to put this block under row, and this would want to be, one way to do this is flex1, and that should give each of this will take up one part of it, this will take up one part of it, and this will take one part of it. Now, let's apply this to these divs here. And we said block. And then we also want to do block here and block. Oops, that's not right. We want it on this div. Now it does fill up the space. This image is so small that it doesn't fill up the space here. But so if we make this image, the width bigger, it would then fill the space. But first of all, let's try a couple things here. Because we want it to look more like this. We might not get it perfect. But let's get these cards, let's make these into cards here. So that's pretty easy. We can just copy and paste this. And we'll just have it be card. This should actually be a lowercase o. I don't know why I did uppercase, so I'm going to change that before I forget. But so we got this card. I'm just going to change this background color to let's just do white. Yeah, because then I guess I need to apply these cards to these divs here. So this is now a card. This one is now a card. Lastly, this one is now a card. So now we got some cards there. Now I don't like that. I need a margin on this card. So do a margin of 20. 20 pixels. And now that's a little bit better. But now so we are getting closer to having this layout. Something else we can do here. So what we really need to do is make these two part of the same block here. So that should be easy enough. We can just go here, and we already have this block formed. So we're going to get rid of this. This doesn't need to be a block anymore because we're going to take this and we're just going to put these learning objectives as a block. So now there's only 2 blocks on this row, and the first block contains both this welcome paragraph text and also learning objectives. Now that's funky a little bit. You don't want it like that. So one thing we could do, there's different ways you could handle this, but I mean, probably you'd want, this max width of this objectives box is only 20%. So that's 20% of this space of this Flexbox that it's in, of the row. So really you want to say, oh sorry, my mistake. It's 20% of, should be 20% just of this space here. So of the block that it's in. Either way, we want to change this to maybe 80%, and that fits better. You could even do 100. Let's see what that would look like. Yeah, so you could do 100, and now this image is too small, so you want it to be, you can change that image to be like that as well, or you can play around with that. So that's not perfect. That's not a perfect layout, but it's better. You can force this image to fit the space and stretch it out and make it look weird. You could also find an image that was longer. You could do a few different things with that, but your situation will be different anyway, so I'm sure there'll be a lot of troubleshooting that you can do, and that I'm happy to help with as well. But that just shows you that you can do this kind of you can break it up into pieces. The last thing I wanted to show you, which is just a different thing, but I keep on forgetting, is that you can change, if you reference the body, like so the whole like your whole web page here, you can change the font family, and you can change the font. So now that changed. It was Times New Roman. Now it's, oops, actually this is, I don't remember which one. I think this is the one we were working on. Yes. Either way, they look identical almost. Okay, but I changed the font here. Now what this says is, it says, okay, if your browser can read and has access to the font Verdana, then do Verdana. If it doesn't for some reason, which most do at this point, I believe, then do Geneva. If it doesn't have Geneva, do Tahoma. If it doesn't have Tahoma, do sans serif. So that's just because like everyone has sans serif, I guess. And that's kind of was more of a thing of the past when maybe browsers didn't have all the fonts. Now, there's also a way to access different fonts but this is how you just access the built-in fonts to HTML. But yes, so anyway, hopefully that was a good tutorial. Excuse me, I just yawned a little bit, but hopefully that was a good tutorial on how to organize your layout of your websites. Now you can do this anyway. You can have it with, obviously you can have multiple boxes. You could have six different pieces of content in one row if you wanted, and different things. Now, obviously that's not perfect. You can play around with how you can organize this. You could even make, one thing that would be interesting is to make this more like maybe 75%, this module, so then it takes up more of the space. So then so it gives the space for it to be more spread out. So if you did make that 75%, you could, I need to make sure that these, you could make these blocks as well. And then, I should have done this earlier anyway, but if you make this as a block, then suddenly it looks a little different. And so each of these, I guess I hadn't applied block to these, but now it looks kind of fun. So play around with that that Flexbox model and let me know if you have any questions.